Josh and Brian here with the Linhart team, Coldwell Banker Realty, a team doing over 150 transactions a year. And the question is, Brian, would you ever leave your 2.25 interest rate?
That's a good question. I think, I'm in very much so, I think, a similar situation of the reason why there's not very much inventory in the market.
Yes.
How do I take what I have as a 2.25 interest rate and go to an 8% interest rate? How would that ever make sense? It's going to be so much more expensive for me to get to the next place. Why don't I just stay where I'm at? And that, to answer that question, is simply the fact that, I won't. I will leave that interest rate.
Yep.
I will for sure leave that interest rate. My house, unless I make an addition on it, unless I do something else to make it work,
You're bursting at the seams.
Yeah, it's just, it's not going to be big enough.
He's got too many toys.
Too many. My children have too many toys, right? So I think it's that of going, yes, I think the interest rates slow me down in making a decision on it. If interest rates were 3% now, maybe I would have done it earlier,
Right.
I think I'm more slower and maybe cautious to making sure that what I get does fit really well, because I know I'm going to be paying more than I can almost afford on it, at least right now,
Yep.
right? With also the notice of the hopes of going, okay, in the future, I should be able to refinance. So I'm okay with pushing my budget now.
Yep.
Because knowing that hopefully would be the case, right? But I think it just makes me, go a little bit slower in the process for the most part. I don't necessarily need to do it. I don't need to do it in the near future. I can make this work for sure.
Yep.
But I think it's that of going, just because it is at a 2.25, that I can't leave that. Or just because I'm going to be at an 8% interest rate, that I won't buy. It's just right now the situation is the most important is I don't have a big enough reason to do it.
Right.
I do love my house. I do love the place that I'm in. I love everything about it. Would I want to have a little bit more and to have, more land or a little bit bigger of a house? Of course. But I think that being the interest rates we are maybe gives me a little bit more of a hesitation, I think, to do it. But I think 100% it doesn't stop me. And I think that also is really important as far as what we do as real estate agents. We have to look at it from your perspective and really to understand who the person is and go, if I were you, would I do this?
Right.
And I think there's very few times, or if ever, that I'm ever in a situation where I'm in a situation with a client where I wouldn't do what they're doing. Right. And as much as we can to put ourselves in their shoes and understand their situation and then go, okay, this makes sense. If I were you, I would do this.
Correct.
And
if I wouldn't do it, I will tell you.
I will tell you.
Yes.
Yes. 100%. As soon as you get into that spot where it goes, this just doesn't make sense for you to do. This is not how I would do it. I need you to at least understand
walk me through why
you're doing it, and let me understand why I wouldn't do this. And I'll tell you.
Yep.
Right. I think that's the most important thing that we have to be able to help our clients. And I think as we go on here, we go, oh, you should buy an 8% interest rate, right? And you should do this and don't worry about this. It's like, okay, well, what are they doing?
Right.
Would they actually do this?
Right.
Yes, 100%. I can hopefully say with every client that I've ever worked with, I will not have them do something that I wouldn't do myself.
Yes, correct.
And that is, I think, the best way for me to go, I can trust what I say to somebody because of that.
Right.
Because I can know and put myself in their shoes, go, this makes sense based off of everything I know.
Yep.
I've asked as many questions as I could to understand their situation as much as I possibly can and understand what they want, what they need. And this is the best option we have currently.
Right.
And we can do this.
Yep.
So I think when it comes to that, would I leave my 2.25 interest rate? We've told you that, you shouldn't buy a house just because interest rates are high. And I will do the same thing. I will buy a house if interest rates are high. That's completely okay with me. I totally feel like I'm okay with them going even higher. So the housing market, I can get some more options.
Right.
And then maybe I can get a better deal on the house, right? I totally believe all those things. And I will do that.
Yep.
For sure. When also we go back to the situation, when do you buy a house? When the situation makes sense for you to do it and you can afford it, right? So for me, it just ends up being is when is that situation going to really be important? When I really want to be able to do it. I sometimes just don't want to move. That's for sure. Because you know what? To be honest with you, that's not an easy thing to do.
No.
That's why we're here to try to help as much as we can.
Right.
And also understand how much stress is involved in that. And that's what we're here to do too. is to help as much as we can to alleviate the stress, because problems will come up. We're
Correct.
there to level them out, to understand
Help
what
you
is
time
this
manage,
problem.
set expectations,
Yes,
walk you
so
through
to
the
go,
process.
is this actually a huge problem or is it not? Can we solve this problem or can we not? Should we worry about this or should we not?
Right.
That is really one of the most important things that we do as real estate agents, is just to try to manage emotions.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
When something you feel is a giant catastrophic issue, I go, here's 3 ways we can solve it. Let me solve it for you. I'll give you a call back.
Right.
Don't worry right now. I'll let you know when we need to worry.
Right.
And maybe we do.
Right.
Because problems do happen. And problems do happen that we can't solve. But we'll do everything we can to minimize them and reduce the possibility of them happening.
Yes.
100%. Interested in seeing what your mortgage payment would be in these interest rate environments? Click the link below in the description and find out.